United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call this meeting to order. The agenda with flexibility.
Would you like that motion?
I would like that motion.
I'd be happy to make that motion to approve the agenda with flexibility.
Bob motions.
Second.
Jay seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, we are here for the opt-out discussion. We didn't get that on the agenda, but it's just discussion. There's nothing to be voted on tonight. We're just talking about the opt-out. Does anybody want to speak, or you want me to give a little presentation first?
Yeah, I'd like to know what the money is being used for.
Okay.
We were waiting, but now we can.
We're waiting for you.
Need anything else? No?
Let's chip in.
Just
All right,
starting.
Is there any way you could print that off for us?
right now.
No,
I asked a half hour ago, but
if you want it, you can get it after the meeting, but right now, it's on the board.
Anyway. When Joe Livermont was still on the board, him and I kind of went down some roads. We kind of picked out the serious attention roads that we can think of, and probably more on there. I'm sure took some input. Right now, Slattery Road. Slattery roads needs some special attention. Burns Road, Christensen Road, and Mountain Road. It's kind of the four we picked out this year.
What was that last one?
Mountain Road. So these are just rough numbers where we're kind of sitting right now. We're maintaining, mowing, snow removal, laden roads, 600K. Our budget's 820 this year, leaving 220. If we do these projects, we're gonna be that far behind,
What's the number
345
in the hole?
in the hole. So this is where, not this year, but next year, we can use opt-out money if we proceed with that. 2026, can we move over just a little bit? Moving over, next year, more roads will be picked out. East Farley Kirk Road, County Line Road, 3 miles. I think the East Farley Kirk Road was 10 miles. And then the Heisel Road. So we've been talking about Heisel, we've been talking about Old Highway lately. And then we just move into 27. We get the major roads fixed, we purchase some gravel, we're gonna run out of gravel. Diamond Road, and then Bear Can out. And then 28, Half Road, Powell Rouse Road, and then maybe some more gravel purchase. These are all numbers we put in, see what will work. Kind of I'll come back to this in a minute. see this, I'll kind of explain it. This is what everybody needs to know this. This is what everything's costing the county. You scroll to the top, Jay. You got commissioners, commissioners contingency, election, court system, auditor, treasurer, insurance bonds, state's attorney, court appointed attorneys, abused and neglect, children's defense, general government building, director of utilization, registered deeds, veteran service. Predator animals, sheriff, jail, coroner, countywide law, juvenile detention, board. You guys are, just courthouse, pretty much courthouse duties. It takes 2.6 million. That's with the sheriff's office. You get down here to road department, 911 communications, fire, emergency disaster, domestic abuse, courthouse building, 24/7, authorize, and then senior citizen trust. That's what the county is spending a year, or that's what 26 looks like, 4.3 million. We just did a rough draft of our revenue coming in. Tax levy, license plates, licensing permits, general government, public safety, health, welfare, fines, miscellaneous fire, tax levy, fire interest, EMS, domestic abuse, domestic divorce fee, 24/7 countywide law agreement. That's a new one this year since we've combined law. This year, wheel tax, county road and government, and then miscellaneous. That's our revenue, 3.6. This is where we're having a problem. A lot of these, some of these got wage increases, some of them don't. This is just a rough draft as they finalized. Last year we were 3.3. Our revenue last year was 3.5. That's not correct. $3.2. Our inputs are going further where we can take revenue. So if we go back to this, you guys can say if I'm missing some roads that need serious attention. Right now, we're at $2 million in road repairs calculated so far. That's not including the old highway. The old highway we did not get done last year, 135,000. Our cost per mile is $33,690. That's including shaping the road and rock dam. I think can't remember how many ton mile.
Should be 80.
80 ton a mile.
Times 25.
80 ton or 80 loads? 80 loads.
Well, that's on some of it, not all. Them single line roads, you don't do that.
Your original road.
80 times
Like you're talking about Burns Road and some of them, you wouldn't need that.
No, I'm talking.
2,000 ton per mile. That's what we're doing on the Central Loop and that's what we did on Title Road. Yes, that's questions. Of course.
Yep, so you just stated that your budget next year is gonna be 4.3 million.
Correct.
You stated that this year your budget's 3.3 million. So in 1 year's time, you're gonna raise the budget of this county $1 million. That's a 25% increase.
Yes, because I took the highway department from 820 to 1.5. I just threw that number in there just to show what, this county was operating on a 1.5 to 1.6 million. We have came down to 820 to make the rest of the budgets online. I know that probably don't make sense, but
We kind of, right, so just to help, Luke, 80% of your budget's mandated, basically, right, roughly? Is that right, Susan?
I don't know how much is mandated, but a lot of these are mandated, and that.
The only areas we can cut are highway department, sheriff's department. How can we cut,
what?
right?
Highway department.
The only thing you absolutely have to pay is your court fees, your inmate fees, your, I'd have to see what
You can't cut that. You can't cut that, then you can cut. Right? You can't cut that. right?
No, I'm saying the
Yeah.
ones that you're mandated
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pay
that's something
is
that you
your-
can't cut.
is your law enforcement
Yeah, that's,
and your court system.
yeah.
And
well, Joe, here's part of the question too. Last year, the sheriff's department was at 402. This year, it's at 679 with the city. And then we're getting that revenue for 26 or 25. So there's $200,000, over $200,000, and then 700 and some thousand on.
Got a question on the floor.
It's just a off the wall question. How many property taxpayers we got in the county?
Mr. Sis-
You talking about in the city too, or just the country?
Well, the city has to pay some county tax.
Between 900 and 925 from memory. Is that
900 and some.
900 and 925.
All of Bennett County?
You've got a lot of primary roads as well on your list there of roads. This is a secondary road opt-out, correct? But there's still a lot of primary roads on that list. Heisel is a primary road. So that wouldn't be encompassed into this?
No. Just,
I'm just saying a lot of them roads would be
Burns
actually
Road,
taken off.
Burns Road, Loudon Road, Christian Road would not be primary roads. Slider Road would be.
Take off Flattery, we didn't like it.
There you go.
Jeez.
You keep going down, you know.
We're gonna hit the fight.
I didn't pick out the secondary roads, just, I want everybody to see what the county is saying right now. And there's probably more roads. This is just what we came off the top of our head. Everybody else wants to add some more roads, they sure can. That needs to be fixed.
Are they gonna pay for it too? You want one more?
We are in,
Well,
Do you have a priority for, say, mail routes or what they used to have bus routes?
that's your FSA roads, right, that's the other.
They don't run buses anymore.
Do you take that into consideration on your budget? Is that,
All the FSA roads, which is say Blizzard, those are hits. FSA roads get hit first.
for farm?
Wow.
What does FSA stand for?
Farm market, farm market,
What is that?
Something like that.
FAS,
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, federal.
Federal Assistance,
On
FAS.
the market roads. So all the FSA roads get hit first, FAS, I'm sorry. Then the secondary roads get hit second. Blade hits, the FSA roads get, FAS roads get hit first with blade and the secondary roads.
But that's just for plowing. Has
That's
nothing
for
to do
blade
with
too.
blading also.
The main, your high main roads, rail routes, all get hit first. Bus routes.
Are them a priority in any way when you take your budget into consideration?
Yes. Well, I call it spider growth, but
FAS 11.
FAS 11 and project growth. That's main FSA road. Then like these three right here will be secondary. I guess these are all FSA. Like I said, I just put this together. It can be adjusted. I just want to show what we're thinking.
So this is all the mandated expenses for the county per year that you have up there. That's the mandated expenses.
No, not these, this is a proposal
This is the
here.
proposal.
This is the proposal that we've,
This
you know,
ain't set in stone.
Okay.
We're just showing what needs serious attention. So it's- No,
This is maybe just a little bit off subject, but not much. Has it been driving the gravel lately, seen all the little flags? shoved
Yes.
everywhere?
you had to bring that up.
It's like every time I do, I drive by that and I'm going, I wanna choke somebody, cause I'm looking at the deal and I'm going, I know, couldn't get stopped, but still, I gotta, you know, speak my piece. I couldn't get it stopped, but you know what it's gonna be like after they start sticking those signs in the roads and they get.
Some of them are on the
roads.
They're already on my point.
They're in over on the west side.
They're
Signs.
a mess, they're gonna be a problem.
Oh my gosh, it's like.
Our hands are tied.
Everybody should be mad about anything in this room here, about stuff like that right there.
That was only almost $800,000. We could have bought a lot of gravel.
We could do a lot of gravel, yeah. But that's
Well,
not.
now it's
I
getting on
That's
was
federal money.
looking for it when it happened, but we couldn't get it stopped, but still, that is the most asinine thing I've ever seen in my life. How can we live 80 years driving those roads without them goddamn signs?
so, one of the things, when they're here, they were talking about the data a little bit, what they're trying to, 70+% of the fatal accidents that happen on county roads are on straightaways, on marked culverts, some curves, things like that. So they looked at the data, the South Dakota Department of Transportation, and of course, whatever they must went with the federal government, and they said, this is how we can take the 70% down by putting these markers up. And so it's all safety based.
I get all that, but I've been on that road and anybody else been on, that road's been there since.
Yeah, we know.
Since 80 years, and nobody has lost their life on those roads yet. You know, I'm just saying, it's like, and when it comes time.
I'm not sure where they get the data, but that's where that data
Yeah, I
comes
know
from.
exactly. but, you know,
I
still.
got another question on, I know the state put them in when they want, you know, them. They go out and weed eat around each one of them
Make the state do it?
every year, and who's gonna do the county ones?
You.
I'm not gonna mow
I know there's gonna be
Well, that's
problems.
the point I'm trying to make.
And who's gonna pay for the damage on equipment?
Exactly, that's the point I'm trying to make.
But our hands are tied.
Yeah, you
In
get
a
it.
year, in a year, a lot
Hands
of them
tied?
are gone.
Yeah,
What's that?
In a year, a lot of them will be gone.
Right.
Our hands, yeah,
Our hands are
Your
tied.
hands are tied.
yeah, oh yeah, they can't do anything about
It's
it.
federal
Well, we
money.
stay was tied on collecting our taxes.
Well, I got a question for you. If you knock one over, who's responsible for it? Is it gonna lay there in the ditch or somebody you gotta send a crew out to fix it?
Well, they're gonna wing snow back by.
No,
Can't be done.
No.
Can it?
no.
One time. It goes to
Well, bring it out now.
Yeah. Don't worry about it when you go back to my place, knock it off.
I'd like some,
I can see on some of these places where the culverts are too short.
well then,
You know, there-
lengthen
there's some
the
dangerous
culvert.
spots.
Now you have to
not
lengthen the
everywhere.
culvert so you get equipment across.
If If you remember at the time when that first came up, it was federal money for free signs. And at the time, Bennett County was in a lawsuit on a death on a road because the stop sign was covered in weeds and it was an old stop sign that was faded out. So it was basically a liability issue.
Well, are they gonna be liable if there's, have a wreck where there's no post? They still should be liable then.
It's federal, when you take federal money.
And they should be
follow
liable for
federal
any
rules.
damage to equipment.
You-
And you're talking to insurance companies, the insurance company's gonna be paying the
Okay,
federal
anyway.
money.
No, I agree with, you. That was the dumbest, you can't, I guess you can't only stack stupid so deep.
Go ahead.
I guess I have a question. You're asking for $350,000 a year. And I guess I was expecting to come in tonight and see the secondary roads that needed to be done and how much that was gonna cost a year to have that done instead of all of the other roads that are on there that I know need maintenance or whatever, but that $350,000 doesn't go towards that, correct?
It will go towards the secondary
It has to
roads.
go.
It'll
It
be
has to
tracked.
go for a second.
That's what I said. I wanted to see the secondary roads only, not the other roads.
I get what you're saying, I do. I just want the whole picture on the board.
What secondary roads would it go to, I guess is the question.
Loudon, Christian, Burns.
On 25?
Yeah, you see right here.
So that's 240,000.
Beer Can is one of them. Diamond Road, 289.
So can I, let's see.
Blue, the Beer Cannon Alley Road now, is that just the Loudon Road?
Beer Can, no, that's the whole. I think that started right after that cell tower. Went over here. Why?
Why?
There's fields back there.
That's secondary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody lives there.
Yeah, you got a lot of farms down there.
Okay, that should be blue. You're not graveling anything, you just fix it up, right?
Yeah.
Then when you put up them posts, they can't get the machinery down.
Hey,
Blue.
Move, you
I
can't.
agree with you.
Instead of going on, past Loudon Road to the west of the highway, why not jump that and you're doing, Christensen Road, why not do Danny Gearson's road that's right there? They have a lot of property, pay a lot of taxes, and they've been without a gravel road all their life.
I can go on there. Like I said, this is just a rough draft.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea. What's the, isn't the biggest cost hauling that gravel? Trucking. How many gravel trailers the county have? 2 or 3? Two. No, I think there's 3, but one's.
One's not good.
One
Yeah.
parts.
So how many run?
I mean, run, I think the 2 run.
Well, they can be fixed, can't they?
Yeah.
My
But there's
point
no
is,
trucks though.
my
Harder
point,
you would know.
Yeah, we got one gravel killer that's, good, one that has a broken spring, and both where somebody goes down.
well, here's my point. Lou, you did it, and I did it on my driveway, and I know Paul Fanning did it. A bunch of us farmers, when we wanted that gravel, we did it ourselves.
Right.
I paid for the gravel, the county loaded it for me, and I bought it out of the county pit, so did Paul. But my point is, if you fix those trailers, and took them someplace and had them fixed, some of the local ranchers or farmers that are living beside it, why couldn't they pull part of that? Use those trailers and pull it themselves, if they want that road gravel. I don't know, I haven't talked to him, but I'll bet Burns would. All of us got semis anymore. We used to do it all the time. I can remember when I was in high school, we had old straight trucks and we helped the county haul because we wanted gravel on the road. And those people that lived there on that particular part should be obligated to put out a little bit of extra. Right, and if that's the way to use their truck and haul some of it, do it. That's just a thought, I wanted to see what you guys thought.
And you need to stop.
And those trailers can be fixed, you can take them
Oh,
around
yeah.
and have them all
Oh,
fixed up.
And they're pretty good trailers still.
I've
What's
seen
that?
people on road graders burying gravel too. And that's great.
What'd you say?
Pulling sod in on burying gravel. It's already on the road, on the gravel road.
Right.
That's, guy buried in 2 days, enough gravel, county couldn't haul a year.
Sir, do you see any issues with a plan like that? Say the county provided trailer, the rancher farmer would haul that gravel at their expense. That gravel would then need to be laid out as long as it was followed to the county road specification.
I mean, I would assume that we would probably have one of our blades smooth
Lay it out. Or
lay it out.
It would probably get confirmed that the road was in condition enough to put the gravel on. Once that was done, then the gravel could be hauled in, and then I suppose the county employee could lay it out.
I would assume so.
Maybe, but
I don't make the rules on liability, but it would be something that we could definitely talk to our insurance about.
because we have, I know the county's leased gravel trailers before to
Yeah,
haul
they
gravel to county roads, so
Yep.
that would work, I would assume.
Well, I remember for a fact, in 1959, when my dad bought that place, Ed Rizzi place from Fat Al. Him and Bud Ward bought like dogs, and Bud just had a dirt trail going in, had a 4 mile. Because if he stayed on the section line, he had to go through some severe canyon. When Dad first bought that, he gave Bud a right of way, and the county came out and built him that road, but and I know they never grabbed it since 1959, they never put a drop of gravel on. I don't blame Burns, but someday, someplace it's gonna have to be done, but my point is, they're about the only ones that live up that way. I'm thinking, well, the county would furnish the gravel and trailer, you guys can put yourselves out a little bit, haul some of it anyway, even if you haul that.
It's an option.
Well, I got the place out there close to me, people lived there before I can remember. They got about 2 miles of road that's never had a drop of gravel on it.
Which road is that?
Going to Anderson's, just to Alan Anderson's.
Well, wouldn't your priority be, Norman, to figure out, so anyone could get to town on a gravel road first versus doing a bunch that they only use, during harvest or certain things?
Yes. So that would be kind of my question. Are you guys thinking we still need to stay focused on primary roads?
Well, or a road so about everybody could get to town on a gravel road. Because I can't go this way, I could go this way. It rained today, so I can go this way, type of thing, versus gravel in every one of them. For example, I'm saying like on our road, the road that goes north past Cognigy, they never, an islands, they never paid much attention to too much gravel there because they could always start at Bud Hicks's and there and come around to the highway that way if the roads, if it were rainy and muddy. That's a point I'm thinking, is there ways to show those private?
Joe, did you have something else?
Yep. So we pay Rose Engineering to prepare a 5-year plan every year. We've done a 5-year plan for about the last 5 years. It's kind of been thrown in the garbage, but I guess one question is, where's Rose Engineering right now? And the other question is, why are we not following anywhere close to the 5-year plan? I mean, most of the roads that were put on there have been taken off, removed for other roads and this and that, and it just gets altered every year. Like, what are we guaranteed that this is set in stone or something? Because every time there's a plan made, it gets thrown in the garbage. So, like, where's our 5-year plan that the county currently has? Do we have that on hand? Like, why weren't these roads considered when you guys approved the 5-year plan earlier this year? most of the roads that came off of the 5-year plan, it's just kind of a,
5-year plan is just to satisfy the state that we have somewhat of direction where we're going. It's not set in stone.
Yeah. So how much difference is between the one before that and this one?
a lot.
Is that? This one looks pretty good to me. Well.
Take a picture of it.
Karen? What, is there some roads that need attention? I mean,
No, I was just wondering, I mean, you have this large number out there, and I thought this opt-out was just secondary roads, and you have all roads on there, that's why I wanted to know where the 350,000 was going each year.
350,000.
Isn't that what the opt-out is a year?
Yes.
Yes.
And that would be directly, it has its own fund, its own. It only goes to secondary roads. The rest of the budget will go towards the other roads to fix them.
What happened to that money about 5 years ago that they put out there for, strictly for roads and bridges and this type of stuff? Did we ever see any of that?
Where'd that come from?
When we put on another 10 cents a gallon on our fuel tax and put $10 a piece on our tire, and they tripled our license plates. It's supposed to be used for roads and bridges. Our fire license plates used to be $288 a year, now they're $1,000.
The other thing on this opt-out, I was at the first, when they done an opt-out originally, years ago. What was that, 15 years ago?
Oh, not that long.
10 anyway,
When was the first one?
10 or 15.
15.
2015, I mean.
And the deal was, we was gonna go broke and bankrupt, and the state would take us over, and it scared the hell out of everybody. And it's gonna only need it for a year or two to get on their feet, and then it'll be done. That was the politician's spiel back then. And it's never been off except in last year.
Last year and this year. Right.
How much of expense has gone up in the last 4 years?
This is a big news now.
Since 20, I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I know,
And those first two opt-outs were just general fund opt-outs.
but how long has it been since their taxes went up?
Yeah.
Our taxes have gone up
Yeah.
in
Except for the opt-out.
4 years, basically.
And there's reason.
We're in a tax freeze
Is that true?
since 97.
1997.
Tax free since 1997.
We're still in the tax freeze.
Except for the 3%.
It's whatever the CPI is, it's a 3% maximum, and it's not always 3%. There's been years when it was 0. It's a consumer price index. So there were some years that it was 0, and so we didn't, the only time you can raise your taxes then is on growth, and we don't have a lot of growth here.
I got a question. Every time I see somebody write something, they always say what we're gonna do with that Heisen Road, we're gonna build it up, fix it right. How do you do that? Are you ever gonna fix that Heisen Road? Are you gonna?
I wish I had that data with me. I don't know.
There ain't no fix to it.
There ain't no gravel.
The amount of traffic that's on that road, it's unbelievable. Yes.
Have you ever looked into South Dakota Department of Transportation grants?
Grants, we are working on it.
And that's why you have to have a 5-year plan every year, because that's the beginning. If you don't have a 5-year plan, then you aren't eligible for any grants. So
I
Then
know,
you get stuck with the
I
road
know,
years.
Florida County is working on a grant right now through the state. They're supposed to let me know how it goes. They don't know if they're gonna get it or not. I don't know what type of grant it is.
I think it's a good idea. I think Joe mentioned that if the county wants to supply gravel and if the individuals pay for the trucking, I would.
And do that instead of an opt-out?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of these driveways, I mean, you gotta take care of your
We,
a couple of months ago. And I was in Albany. As long as they came out and looked at your road and made sure it was okay, you could go and get, you'd have to get a permit for
Right.
that and go haul it yourself. Or
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
we do that currently. We have permits. Obviously you can't put any of the gravel on private properties, but on county roads or whatever, if you do the permit, we pay the gravel, you pay the trucking.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Are you saying just that, or are you saying the trailers too?
Well, I gravel down by that Peter place. I paid for trucking down in Select. Right. If you got a bad stretch in your road, your driveway or your.
It don't last.
Could be long as on county section line or something.
Right, yeah. I'm not saying to your window or something, yeah. I know, but, cheap, but then you got a road.
I have one right.
That's right.
You should say something.
More than nature. How many local farmers or ranchers have belly dump capable trailers, whether they haul grain or whatever?
Not gravel trailers, we got grain trailers. They won't haul.
Do they belly,
Too much dirt in it.
do they dump in the belly?
In the gravel trailer or in the grain trailer?
Any trailer you have?
No, we got grain trailers, and the gravel won't come out. I tried it.
Rock will, but not.
Rock will, but not road travel. Base course, they call it.
If we get two that run,
I think so.
You've got three if you want to fix them.
We have one that's running right now, but two that need repairs.
is least possibility to consider. So if some of the gentlemen could become involved also.
We just got to figure out the liability, and who's gonna stand the repairs.
If we lease them out, we can make that part of it. So if we decide that we're going to lease our trailers, which we can lease our equipment, then that's, can be part of the lease, or we figure that out.
Right.
So we do have gravel already purchased, but we're just doing pit run for when they're doing that right now.
Correct, that's what we got a separate account, 20,000 set aside for anybody that wants to apply for some gravel, and they can haul it themselves,
20,000 for the year.
20,000 for the year. But,
Pit run.
but one person gets a permit, it's 25 loads, 25 ton, that's the max for the year. If that makes sense, and you got dedicated to one of the roads, like 289th Street, or whatever road you're on, you got dedicated to it.
So what good is that gonna do me?
What's that?
Putting more gravel on the ice of the road, it ain't gonna stay there anymore. You guys never really answered Roger's question.
What are we gonna do to fix Isle Road? First 5 miles especially, that's what gets the worst, right?
Yeah.
So-
What I understand a lot of the problem is the high speed, not going gravel on. So the vehicles travel.
That may be true. That may.
Don't help it anyway.
That may
But yeah.
promote more gravel loss, but you telling me a road in this county that gets more travel than that road? Exactly. That road probably gets 5 times the travel of any road.
It'll scare them. I wish I had one, it'll scare you.
I'm sure it does.
So our next option is asphalt,
They wanted to do that.
right? Is that what we're, huh?
They wanted to do that 1 year and it got shut down.
Who would pay for that?
The state never let that happen, did they?
State came in here one time, wanted to grab or pave that.
Who?
State.
The state did.
Is gonna pay for it?
What was that?
Well, why was it?
Oh, was that? Okay. Yeah, there's lots of things.
See, a lot of the country.
Too much renovation.
That must have been a long time ago.
Eddie, you probably.
Ed Rissy was commissioner back then.
But that's probably the solution, right?
Yeah,
I think that's.
So-
that's the only way you do it.
So, I guess, yeah, figure out how to make that happen. I'm assuming this graveling is $35,000 a mile.
Asphalt's $100,000.
We-
Yeah,
Meade
but
County,
That's a one-time cost. How many times has the ice road been ground in the last 10 years?
right?
You put gravel, you put a fresh gravel road, it normally lasts 5 years. And with as much traffic as what's on that Heisel Road, you're lucky if it lasts 2.
Just
I don't
need
know.
that line? No.
I know we can't borrow money, right? You know, guy, you know that we can't borrow money because one guy can sit there to do that. The $100,000 amount, you gotta, the road ain't way too wide. It may have been too wide at one time,
But
but
they-
it ain't now.
Yeah. When they first rebuilt it, by building it as wide as the state highway, that's the specs for it. But it's been narrowed up immensely since then.
I was talking to some commissioners from Meade County, and they were saying their cost per mile to do a gravel road is $50,000. So I thought we would be quite a bit higher, but it seems like we're quite a bit lower.
Mr. Chairman, would you consider mag chloride on the lower end of High School Road, rather than calcium chloride as a binding agent?
It works. It's cheaper. I can't remember what it cost.
As a way
Is it pretty
to,
expensive too? I can't remember. Or you can use a fly ash. Fly ash will see it, that's like $8,000 a mile.
the cost of supply.
At fly ash?
Yeah. There's the cost of clay for the- You what?
What?
It's a way it is. I mean, because a lot of times they put fly ash in the concrete. You don't do it here because it's not cost prohibitive. It's so hard to get. Yeah, it's sort of distance from everything else. Struggle with it.
So what's the trade on that? Okay, the trade on gravel. You know it's gravel.
I don't know about fly ash.
There's no opinion on this.
So that $350,000 a year gets you about 10 miles of secondary roads. Does that seem reasonable to you?
So if we do this opt-out, how much per acre are we talking?
Jeff had that figured out, I thought. But you got it?
Blue, do you have those numbers?
Yep,
I didn't bring mine with me.
Average is 56 cents per acre. Non-crop is 22 cents per acre. Crop is $1.35. $1.35 per acre.
Does that include residences too?
No.
It's land
Well, I mean,
and improvements.
That
There are
land
some
and-
buildings included.
so it's all on the farm, it's all on the agriculture side, it's not on the city.
Right.
Right. Cities,
Why? Don't they drive on the county roads too?
they do.
This
If
is a
you got-
secondary road opt-out, and that is only the roads outside of the city, so the city isn't involved in. They can't vote, it's only the voters outside the city limits. That's how a secondary road opt-out works.
So we,
I pay my taxes when I come to the city.
we can maybe,
Not to the county, you don't.
that doesn't seem fair. They drive on the county roads just like we do.
Who's that?
That's a question to present to your state legislators, for your state legislators to rewrite their law. The law is when you take and you do a opt-out specific to secondary roads, you have to be secondary road and the benefit goes to secondary road.
Okay,
What?
how about we rename it?
Right?
You can do a general opt-out.
Yeah, we could do a general opt-out. This is,
Is that what the people want to do?
Well,
I don't want any of them.
if you live in the the city, I mean, I can't think of anybody that doesn't drive on County Road once in a while.
I can't either.
And where would the city be without any agriculture?
I think we all share the pain a little bit.
Well, do the country people have to pay when they oil the streets?
And Martin?
No. Well, that's probably what their answer.
So
Yeah,
just,
you pay from sales tax, actually.
just,
You do.
Well,
You do have to pay?
Yeah, you pay sales tax.
yeah,
Sales
the
tax.
goods, the goods you buy.
City plan?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
that's right, you are right.
So I think every taxpayer in the county should pay for it. It's a budget. It's not just, I mean, it's not just the roads that are suffering, it's everything.
It's everything.
Just because you live in the city limits doesn't mean that you shouldn't have to pay for, I don't know, what was all county courthouse charges,
And the police department.
police department. States-
They don't take care of any of the city.
I don't see why you shouldn't spread it out over the whole.
Police department comes out county, they cover the city.
Right. Well, the city's paying their share too.
So what?
The city and county split the law department.
I know, how about the rest of the courthouse that you said was over, what was that, $1 million?
2.6.
Between all the salaries and the. No, go to the top. Yeah, go to the top. It was, I mean, just because our budget is short because the price of everything has gone up, wages have gone up, electricity's gone up, and we're supporting these lights right now with county taxes. Why shouldn't the city
I agree.
residents help pay for the whole county?
Well, the city residents do pay into the general fund. They pay property taxes to the general fund. All we're talking about right now is the secondary roads.
I know, but
If we do an opt-out, that goes into the general fund. And then
Well, in other words, if we do the opt-out, we don't have to pay the other town.
So,
if you do it on your primary roads, you're opt out on your primary roads, then you're focused on things like Heisel, Project Road, stuff like that. If you did your opt out on just for primary roads, then you could use your budgeted amount that you're talking about for your primary roads, just swap it and use that on your secondary roads. Then everybody would get to vote on it, and everybody would be utilizing it. It wouldn't have to go into the general fund, it could still go right into the highway fund. Earmarked.
Leroy,
we'd have to look into that because I'm not sure that we can do that.
I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if it's even legal or.
About how much of that secondary road that you're talking about goes past trust land? Is there any way we could get any funds out of the tribe or anything like that?
I know Ralph Graff tried.
No.
Somebody
It's actually going up to do the opt-out. Wouldn't stay the same.
Per acre.
Yeah, right now.
Can you read the, if we have it,
No, it's pretty much what we're paying right now. How much more does it go if we do the opt-out?
50 cents maybe.
I thought we're still paying the opt-out right now.
No.
Been out for years.
Yeah.
blew it last year.
he's got the numbers
Yeah.
on the average acre.
Leroy, you had a question earlier, something about you don't want to pay no opt-out tax, or you don't want no opt-out?
I prefer not.
So,
We have to live within our budget. What we do, we can't go raise the prices to whatever we need just to cover something more. I think they should be able to find enough cuts and make it work, but they're getting.
So,
There's a lot of waste going on, is what I'm trying to hint at too.
So I showed up late. What can you tell me that's gonna convince me that this is out of the way to go? What are we gonna gain out of this deal?
the road work is gonna get done that wouldn't normally get done.
Who's
Is that right?
My question is who is gonna do all this work? Are you gonna ask for bids, or do you already have somebody specifically in mind to do it?
No, it'd be bidded out.
Out of state.
So we're not gonna go back to you guys' experiment where Whipple came in and did all this road work. That's not gonna happen this time, is it?
We're gonna bid it out, is what we're gonna do. Because we don't have the manpower to do it.
You wanna say something? No?
What?
Well, I think the way the commission's been operating over the years, there's a lot of the problem was the highway department. They hired somebody to be the road boss. And it should be somebody that has an idea of what they're doing. They shouldn't let them do it. And quit firing all the help. That happened a few years ago. The commissioner got on and first thing he did, fired all the road department. I don't know why that last guy had him. I don't know the guy myself.
I think you're
Very
doing the right
good,
thing by
but-
contracting that out. I know myself, I'd hire 3 more men if I could. You can't get decent help if you could.
Right there is a
You
prime
can't
example.
keep- I don't blame you guys. I think by the time you pay the upkeep on some crappy guy that won't even check the oil and all of that junk, Jason Fanning was a commissioner for years. That's what he said. When you got all done, it would have been cheaper 9 times out of 10 to contracted it out. And I think you're right. I know myself is that way on the farm.
Well, I'm sure the head of the road department would be good living in Arizona. He'll keep up on things.
Well, yeah, because somebody has to control them, you know, they were out there blading dry roads. They ruined their roads.
I'd like to have, whose idea was that down by the, well, by the place, going to my place? What is going on in that ditch?
I don't know.
Now,
I
that
haven't
looks
been
like
out
that
there.
somebody was smoking something or what, I don't know. They got a windrow about this high of sod in the ditch, and then another little one along the road, edge of the road. And what did that gain on the road?
Can't answer it. 'Cause
I mean, that had to, quite a bit of blade work to do that. And I can't understand what even they possibly gonna be doing with that. Especially they won't be able to get it back out there because the market goes now. Oh, they are.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of them.
So if this goes to vote, this opt-out goes to a vote, and it's just the county landowners that vote? Or is it the people that live in the country that are registered to vote?
It's just the registered voters outside the city limits.
If they own land or if they don't?
Right.
Well,
If you're in a
Renters
precinct,
and
it's
whatnot that
whatever,
live in the country.
it's whatever
So they
precinct
could vote.
is, it's just gonna be the 3 precincts, Allen and Martin Roll 26 and Tatiana Beatel. Those will be the registered voters that will
You can,
vote
So
on the
you'll have
opt-out.
trust
that,
ground
just
and.
the taxpayers too.
Registered
Only?
voters.
All right, I'm gonna back up here for a minute. What does everybody like to see? Just secondary roads or the whole county? As Jeff was saying, the whole county should
everybody should have a way out. Everybody should have a decent way out.
So let the city, I mean, do it. What's that called, general,
It'll be a general fund opt.
yeah, jumping up,
Just going to the general.
Is the secondary roads gonna get fixed in if you do that?
will be part of it.
If you do,
If
just
you
do
don't
a general,
earmark it for the secondary road, most times it don't get done. Just saying.
if you do a general fund opt-out, that money would go into the general fund and can be spent on anything.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
And so it can go for
Um,
roads, not roads, it can be spent on anything. If you do just
Salaries.
secondary opt-out, it has to go just for secondary roads, no other choice.
But unless you budget it to the highway department, you can't pull it back out. So you could put the general opt-out to the general fund, but then your budget
And then you can put it in the highway department.
in the highway department, which would lock it in there. Okay?
Is that what the public like to see?
But the thing, if you do that, chances are you're not gonna get any work on your secondary, very little work on your secondary roads.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the facts of the matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
why-
what he's
that's kind of
asking
I'm
is-
thinking, because you know how many years some of these secondary roads have been touched?
Never,
Ever, what?
never.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that the point is, if you do that, is it any work gonna get done on the secondary roads? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, and what needs the most work is secondary roads, because like you said, all those back roads, those farms, those farms and shit, they're all cabin in there, you gotta drive out in the field background, there's a big water hole in the middle of the hill, they ain't gonna get fixed. They haven't been graded down in 10 years, because, can't get anything else done besides, the main roads. If you make a point to it, then you might get something done. But you wouldn't think about gravel, you're just talking about pulling up the secondary roads and stuff. You wasn't talking about putting gravel on all your secondary roads and stuff, were you? What are you thinking there? What, gravel?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they're talking gravel in them, yeah. At a cost of
You know how far that's
$35,000 a
gonna go,
mile.
what can get done?
You get
How
10
about-
miles.
What about just putting a crown on it so you drive down the road and into the ditch? Maybe something like that instead of, put all the money in one half-mile road, whatever the gravel and shit. Just get it so you can drive down it when it's dry, so that would be able to do water. That's a thought, just a thought.
Just get them built in shape.
Yeah, it's like, maybe go down it, the first time in 10 years, because some of this shit hasn't been done in 10 years.
How,
But let alone, if you're gonna talk about gravel, you're gonna get one tiny freaking piece of road done in each year, maybe in each year, and you're gonna get nothing done, in the next 10 years, you're gonna have 10 miles, like, really.
I think the idea there is longevity possibly. I don't know if that, but if you shape it and gravel it, it's gonna last much longer than if you just shape it and let it.
You can have the money to do that, to cover a whole bunch of secondary roads.
Maintain them, you mean?
You're saying 35,000 miles, you just 10,000 for each 10 miles.
Yeah.
A year.
Well, another thing, in the paper, they said about 10 miles of road they're gonna do a year. Well, there's at least 700 miles of road in Bennett County. So that only takes 70 years to cover.
It's hard to, stick a bunch of gravel on a secondary road like that when your main road, secondary road, there's no gravel on it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why we're here for discussion.
Yeah, I'm just, pointing out, so.
What constitutes a secondary road?
So,
You just kind of, anything off the main road.
It showed up in the plan.
Section line, section line roads. Not, well, some, if they're used, if they get used by a big one, farm fields or pastures or something, they get used.
You're saying that don't go to a residence?
Well, not necessarily, no, you can't say that.
I mean, if you start going through and trying to maintain the section lines and whatnot, I mean, that would go on people, if you're bitching about your main roads to begin with, I mean, if you money ought to be spent there.
All of that too, you still need to put some part of the secondary road. I'm not saying put your gravel on it, pull them up so you can drive down to them. They haven't been pulled up, straight out.
On the
15, 20 years. Well, that's why they're going with the opt-out, maybe put some money to it. But putting gravel on secondary roads and some of the, I think that's a little bit.
Leroy, did you have a question? Roy?
There's talk of raising the wheel tax also. We gonna do both or one
one or the other, or as much as you can get?
We just brought it up at the last meeting. We're just kind of talking about it right now.
But that would be significant.
You talking about like your tires and fuel?
Tires. Because right now we're getting paid $4 per tire, up to 4
Does
tires.
the state get the rest of it?
No,
But they
All
don't the
stays.
price.
that all stays here.
Does all state locals? do that?
Yes.
So we're only
I
getting,
thought it was 10, but I thought the state must deal with some of them. What about the license?
The license we get a share of, state gets part of it and the
Why?
County.
When it's supposed to be designated for roads and bridges, why don't we get it all? I
because.
thought that's what the law was for.
How many years ago?
I was up there when they did that.
The
I just know
county
that's the way they
was
do it.
optional whether the county would put it on or how high they went, up to
The wheel tax.
the wheel tax.
yes. They were limited at $60 per 12 tires. 12 tires at $5 a tire. We can go up to that, but right now we're at 4 tires at $4 per tire.
So if you got a semi, you're only getting charged $12.
And that's a fee everybody has to pay, not just the landowners.
That's
It
right.
goes to
It's
the
the
growers.
parish tax.
So if you took the limit of 4 tires off and let it be the full 12 or whatever, how much tax revenue would that generate to work on roads a year?
Probably not much. 10.
Didn't she say the other
I
day?
thought you had the dollar amount. Was it 70,000?
That's what we're getting right now. We're getting 68,000 right now.
We're getting roughly 70,000 for 4 tires, so you're gonna double that, aren't you?
Not really,
Not really.
because,
Not everybody
I mean,
has.
you'll get a few semis.
You're getting 70,000 right now for 4 tires, and you're gonna bump it up to 12 tires. You're gonna be getting
No,
twice
But,
that.
but,
But not everybody
because not everybody has a semi.
Yeah. And I would be able to semi. We're just talking about it.
So all you guys went through these numbers of blues? You guys have all penciled through them all together or looked through them?
Jay and Bob, I just skimmed through it. Susan, Dave, and I have seen them.
Because your road grader operator on there is getting paid $35 an hour.
Is that what you're getting, Roger? No, that's an example.
But that's what your budget dollar is.
Yeah. We would hire people to do roads, 7 employees at $35 an hour. That's what it's gonna take to get qualified people. Is it cost you?
Whipple's guys don't even make 35 an hour right now. One guy's making 30, the other one's making 25.
Can I finish, please?
Huh?
Can I finish, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
76 for retirement and social security, 92,000 for insurance, maintenance repairs on machinery, 150,000, just, these are all ballpark. Maintenance on equipment, 250,000, the budget's $1 million, and you're already in the hole 80,000. And that's before you start fixing roads and paying for fuel. So that's why we're thinking about contracting the highway department out.
That's what you paying Whipple, or that's,
No,
well, what it cost us, well, what are you paying Whipple?
That was a bid last year.
I didn't know it was a bid.
Last year in June, we accepted bid.
This is what
Yeah, it's a,
Whipple is paying for, this is us.
this is us.
this is us, if
If we
we,
hire our own people, that's what you're looking at.
this is our problem, right there.
But we've never paid anybody $35 an hour.
But we ain't getting anybody either, so we're not paying them $35, we're not getting anybody.
Exactly.
If you pay 35, maybe they'll be worth 35, but maybe not. That's the problem.
And it is like.
You can pay them $35, it's still ain't worth it, it's still not worth it.
By the time you pay their insurance and everything else, you're getting them pretty close. You may not get 35, but you get over 25.
Yeah, that's the problem, getting somebody that's
You
gonna
try to find 7,
huh?
try to find 5 or 6.
Well, you can throw 35 out there, but it still ain't gonna get anybody to do it. If you do get them, are they worth $35? pay somebody $50 an hour and they show up and say, man, this guy ain't even worth, $20. But, still, everybody knows how they're trying to find somebody to, take care of your stuff when they're running and stuff. So, yeah, it's tough.
And I will say one thing now, might be costing quite a bit more, but the blade operators that do come out now, they're getting something, they do a good job. They're getting something done and doing it right. I'd rather have it done a third as much and do it right than to ramble over the top and they need to fill out in the washboard. That's the way it is in our. I don't know about the rest of the county, I haven't been over.
Well, I'm just talking about that. I don't know about anymore.
And I know in our own operation, I'm sorry, I've come to Kent, we've got to hire a contractor.
For 6 months, like local charges last year, 300.
For maintaining? Last year?
Maintaining, they fixed that road over there, around by Crattville, they finished.
Central Loop.
Central Loop. That was what, 327,000 or something like that?
Something like that.
And that was 6 months of them maintaining the county, hauling gravel and fixing that road, and 3 miles of, finishing 3 miles of Central.
How much was that?
About 327, I think, for 6 months.
327,000.
Yes.
I'll come in August, he paid more than 400,000 in one plant.
That's for gravel.
Gravel.
Anybody else?
I have an idea, but it's a lot different. If you want me to share.
Sure.
Pick a road, such as Heisel. Figure out what it's gonna cost, do an appraisal on it, bring actual engineer in, figure out how to make a road out of it. Get that cost, then come to us taxpayers and say, this is what we wanna do. We have a plan, we have a contractor, we have an engineer, we wanna do this road. And then say, this is what we wanna raise your taxes. And see if the residents want to fix that road. The next year, if you want to do another one, pick a road, get an engineer, get specs on it. Find out all your penciling, all your details. That's the stuff that a highway superintendent would do and take care of. Then go to your taxpayers and say, this is what we want to do. This is what it's going to cost. Put it in the budget for next year. They're going to come up with the tax money. Go do that road. Project road, Heisel road, whatever your big FAS roads are. The rest of this money can go into your secondary roads. But actual have an engineer, a plan, actual dollars.
You get an engineer out there, go survey all that, that's gonna cost a ton, isn't it?
But you need an engineer to come up with a plan to fix it right. It's already been said, Heisel Road can't be fixed.
Can't be fixed. Well, it can be fixed.
I wouldn't say can't.
I would say it can be fixed with gravel.
The right type of gravel or some binder or something.
Well, if the state was willing at one time maybe to redo that, take it over, looks to me like we'd be looking into that. Again,
Do you know what the
we
chances?
got different politicians now. Maybe we can get it done.
I think it's probably even harder now.
It's
I
over,
would try.
it's over $100,000 a mile for asphalt. That's how
That's what I'm
preparation.
saying.
But
Say if the state will take it over, since that much traffic.
it is gonna cost a lot. That's no doubt. It's kinda like putting in R11 insulation compared to R15, or spray foam, we'll say that. It's gonna cost more to do it right in the beginning. But your maintenance is gonna pay for it in the long run. you're not gonna have to, run up and down that road. Right now, if they blade the road and bladed it good, less than 10 days ago, and I guarantee you right now, it's like driving over an auto.
So you said you think it can be fixed, and you think it can be fixed with gravel.
No, I don't think it can be fixed with gravel.
Okay.
On Allen Road, they work with the BIA on that. Why wouldn't they still work with you on the Heights Road? It isn't much different than Allen.
Well, that took like, I don't know, 5 years and a dozen meetings and different tribal chairmen and that, and we had money to put into it. We had
Took too long to
like
do
100.
it.
And it's
Well,
still
you're
never
looking at-
chips it.
Well, maybe we need some new politicians. It'll work with something like that.
You want an application?
When they put gravel on Heisel Road last time, 10 years ago, they put it right over top of the washboards. It wasn't bladed out, it wasn't smoothed up. I was out there gathering cattle out by Scott's place that day. That's why it's failing. The washboards are deep. And unfortunately, my theory is that the only way to fix that road is to go out there and rip it and get down lower, slide it off to the side, rebuild it back up. I mean, I'm just saying, I think there is really a way to do it. But the problem is you have layers of failures, and you got to get down to the base and fix the foundation of that road and rebuild it up. And yep, it's going to cost money to do it right. But that's where an engineer is going to come in and say, they might pull core samples, or they might start peeling layers and figure out where it needs to be. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. But that's the message that you got to put out when you take on a big project like that, is it's going to get really bad for a little bit. I mean, just like the road up to Kadoka, it's really bad. But when they're all done, I mean, everybody's mad about the Kadoka road right now, but when it gets done, it's going to be better. And sometimes you got to go through a bad period of it. And I think I don't know, that's my theory on that road. And I'm not an engineer, but I've been around a lot of roads, and I think you got to get the top couple feet off and relay that back on and start building up your foundation, and you can build a road there.
Well, they'd have to do that even if they will. They'd have to have a good foundation.
Yeah. But the way it is right now, I mean, when I was sitting on this board, I tried getting them to rip it. That was my theory, is bring the big rippers in and see if we can get underneath of the washboards. It never got done. I mean, it was a risk, it was a big risk, but still not any better.
So which way are you guys leaning in? Doing the opt-out or
That's why that was being.
sending it to a vote or what?
Go to a vote no matter what, right? Go to a vote, right?
It just depends on if you have to sign petitions or not.
No, it's going right to a vote.
Yeah.
We decided to send it right
Yeah.
to the people.
To the people.
We just got to decide which way we're going.
Which way the money's going.
When you say which way, you mean
General or secondary? But I mean, once
Do you
everybody,
really think that the Martin City voters would vote for an opt-out to just go in the general fund?
Well, it depends on what's the percentage of tax base in the city versus the whole county. 10%? Maybe it's not even worth.
But it's just registered voters, it's not that vote on it, it's not.
No, it's not taxpayers. It isn't
Registered voters.
Everybody's pretty much registered.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure all your landowners are registered to vote.
Property owners in the city. Right? Really?
But do you think they're gonna vote
I don't know.
to
I don't
push
think
it on
they would.
secondary
I'm just
roads?
curious if the tax base of the city of Martin is, what, 5% of the total county? Is it even 5%? Probably not.
I don't know. Do you know, Jim?
I don't.
It's not that many.
We could find out.
I
We
suppose.
we just don't have our numbers right in front of us.
Yeah, it's probably not even worth it.
I don't think it'd be a lot.
Yeah,
Do you want to know that?
I don't get that. I've got an idea that it's less than 5%. So,
So what's your total number of voters in the city of Martin when you compare that to the total number of voters in Bennett County at large, or as a whole? And then I'm really hearing three stories here tonight. There is voice that we don't want any opt-out at all. There is discussion of secondary road only opt-out. There is discussion of general fund opt-out. What would the people who have taken the time tonight to come in, what would this group like to see as an end result? Realizing, you see Mr. Donovan's numbers, if you do nothing with what little is left, there's probably not going to be much done to roads this year. Opt-out, no matter which opt-out it is, it will not impact any road work this year. That will not come into effect until January 1 of 26. In other words, our next building season. Right now, you're pretty well stuck with what we have. Looking ahead, you have options. Again, do nothing, live with what we have. Attempt a general fund opt-out and hope the city votes in your favor. Or do the secondary road opt-out and keep your voice and your money on your secondary roads.
that's probably the best option.
Please, I want to hear what people want.
It kind of sounds to me like any option you take isn't gonna change anything.
What do you mean?
That's, pay more taxes. Because whether you do the secondary roads, like you said, it's minimal. And that's what this originally started for.
So if this opt-out goes through, is the wheel tax gonna go into effect also?
How quick do you want your roads brought up to staff, up to the specs?
Well, how quick do you want to hit us all hard in the ass
Can I ask,
so we can budget for it?
can I ask one question? This is off the topic. I'm sitting here hearing, don't want to raise our taxes. Our taxes are too high. Don't need to raise them no more. So, Mike, Dave, Jay, Bob, Susan, you guys go to the gas station, gas goes from $2.50 to $5. What do you do?
Never pay it.
You gotta pay it, sometimes you gotta cut elsewhere to pay it.
Right. And that's why I'm asking, if the opt-out goes into effect, are you also gonna go with the wheel tax so we can budget for both of them?
I have a bigger question. And I find it's a very troubling question to put out in our current economy. Currently, the cattle sector seems to be doing well. Where's the export market on grains? I'm pretty sure China is looking to Brazil, Australia, and Argentina. What does that do to the local grain growers, not only in Bennett County, but in this part of the nation? We're all going to be looking at tough times, I think.
That's why I'm asking about, we have to do our personal budgets. And that's why I'm asking, if this opt-out goes through, are you also gonna go through with the wheel tax?
What do you want?
Oh.
Tell me what you want.
Well,
No, I'm saying, no.
the question.
No, I'm not saying that. And did you,
Oh.
Well, if you don't do your budget, and stick to it, you can't just go to someone and say, hey, my budget didn't work, can I have some more money?
Exactly.
Like you guys are doing. That's all you're doing is saying, hey, our budget didn't work, give us more. Why can't you make your budget work?
No, we're just telling you.
They can make it work, but you guys ain't gonna like it.
They
So,
can't make it work.
Let me
2
back up.
years ago, they went over budget, 455,000. Last year, 600,000.
Judd,
That's over the budget.
Judd,
So now they're asking for more money to cover what's already been
Judd.
spent.
Judd,
Yes.
I don't agree with your numbers.
Look at how much you've transferred in December, into your December meeting. It's pretty easy to tell the numbers.
the one thing is, I like your chart, if you could get some numbers to present to the people for each of the options and where that money is really going,
Which one?
secondary roads, primary roads, and then how much of that is going to be spent per year and what's going to be done. Give the, you know, that, maybe people could get a better idea of, you know, if you had an idea of the cost of what each of them is going to be. I mean, that's a good deal there, but it's hard to see in one night or one evening.
You're right, and you out, and you throw 3 or 4 different total deals there. Well, are you gonna do 3 or 4, or just one?
Well, that's per year that they don't plan.
But you have to put it out for bid to find
Which
out.
road, which, you know, secondary, primary, whatever.
But then you have to put it out for bid.
Well,
So you
You
can
gotta
get
put
the actual
up a bid
number.
or build it yourself, how are you doing it? But you put up primary roads, FSA roads or whatever, secondary roads, mail routes, you put all of them. Okay, we passed this opt out. Are you gonna say, well, I need more than that, so I'm gonna build more?
You're only allowed to pay so much money.
And it only goes to secondary roads. We can't take 350,000 and
Which
put it
one are
on
you
a
going
primary road.
We don't know yet. That's what we're trying
Well,
to
money,
figure out.
If you're gonna do secondary roads, you're gonna have to pick maybe 2-3 miles on this road and 3 miles on, so everyone gets an equal. You can't just pick a road and just do the whole road. You're gonna have to break it up for the whole county, so everyone will see some advantage of it.
Well, some of these roads don't need anything done on the right away.
Right.
Or they're maybe bladed, and some of them do need work, but nobody knows because you don't have a superintendent.
So,
And this guy out of state don't know and don't care. I know a bunch of commissioners got their roads fixed here recently, but
Who's that?
Kurt, well, he's gone now, the other one, Livermont. He got a road fixed out there, I guess.
That road was on the plan for how long, Jeff?
Ever,
Yeah,
ever.
that was,
Yeah.
that,
Well, I don't, like I say, some need it, some don't. I don't.
that needed it.
Okay.
I mean, we did,
I
what,
know you're
18
wrong.
miles? 18 miles. And you're gonna finger out one commissioner because he lives along that 18 miles? Seriously?
I said, figure out the ones that need it and do it. You said it did.
And that's an FSA road.
Okay, I agree with you.
That's
If
an
it needed
FSA
done, it
road.
needed done.
That's an FSA road. You can't do that with that opt-out money.
Levi.
Secondary opt-out, you can't do that.
Levi. Back to your budget question.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Back to your budget question. Since I've been on here since 2020.
Yep.
2020. Our road budget was at 1.6, or one, you remember, Jeff? This is what I remember.
It was at 1.5 for 1 or 2 years, and then it went down to 1,050,000 for like 3 years.
Correct.
And now it's down to 730, so.
Our wages, our inputs keep going up. Our revenue does not come in very fast. It doesn't build very fast. So we gotta pull out a highway budget to make other budgets work. And that's why our highway department keeps dwindling down, because we're pulling from it to make other budgets work. Now, first thing everyone will say is, all right, let's cut staff or cut wages, cut back wages. If we do that, we'll have to shut the doors, because these people are gonna all leave.
it's kind of like this, Levi, a little bit. Like, so we're on a tax freeze, and so we have so much money that we could work with. But then the expenses went up, but we could only go up based on the CPI. You know, so our expenses went up considerably. But I'm on board with you. I mean, I try to live within our means as much as possible and try to do what we can. But we're able to do less because our prices have went down.
But you gotta realize too,
It'll help if it works that way on my place too. Everything went up.
but the income hasn't.
What we do, we get 1 good year out of that thing. How long have we been struggling along, you know, and the same can take you long. But we don't have somebody that we can just go and say, give me. And we need to opt out, need more money. I mean, I don't think you guys, I don't know for sure, I haven't been involved in your guys' meetings and whatnot, so I'm not gonna talk now for your, but I don't think you guys have really actually tried to say, you know what, here's what we can do without doing, getting extra money. It's just too damn easy to say, well, let's just do the opt-out. What do we say? You know, that's where I think it is. And I don't know, like I said,
What have you guys done to try to lower the cost, I guess?
Part of the problem is the inmates, the court-appointed attorneys, the mental illness has gone off the charts. We're mandated to do that. We have to pay that. The only things that we can control are salaries, services like highway department. You know, there's not a lot that we can control.
Sure. So I think there has been some attempt to try to, I mean, that's what you guys are doing with like contracting and stuff, right? So you tried to stretch the dollar further there. So I think that's what
We get more bang for our buck if we
But
contract it out.
when you reached your budget, instead of going, why did you not stop them and say, we're out of money, you can't work no more, instead of ending up $300,000 in the hole? So why didn't you stop them? Instead of continuing to have them out there when there was no money to pay them?
So do you want, so if we stop them, and we have a blizzard, and they can't work no more, who's gonna open the
Well,
money?
we didn't have a blizzard, correct?
I'm just saying.
And I'm saying, and I'm also saying that they was out there blading roads that were way too dry to be bladed. Why was they doing that? Why didn't somebody say, hey, it's too dry, don't go blade? But yet, you're spending money for them to be out there when they shouldn't have been out there.
To a point, you have to cut the washboards. If we're not getting no rain, we have to cut the washboards for the safety of the public.
We waste the time cutting them when it's too dry.
Exactly. And didn't they blade black pipe so much that it powdered out, so they're gonna have to haul gravel?
No, I don't think so. There's no gravel there. And if it's dry, it powders out.
Yeah, Roger, sorry.
I'll give you guys my honest opinion.
Yep.
What you guys need to do is exactly what she's saying. You need to hire a superintendent and he can go around and check these guys' work. I see some of their work is pretty fucking boring. I see one of them coming right down the middle of the Heisler Road. And now did you blade the Heisler Road at one back?
I've seen some of the old maintainers that do the same thing.
All right,
We need somebody to go out there and check their work.
all right, we're off subject.
Yeah.
There's one
That's
thing I
what
want
costs
to
a
bring
lot of
up.
money though.
And have the superintendent picking out which roads need work on instead of just, oh, the one you wrote up
You
there.
want to be superintendent?
You know, but you can hire somebody that knows about it. I don't know about roads.
How long have you been trying to do this, Jeff? You've been here before me.
You have superintendents and you fired them.
Yeah, you have.
Because that stuff was going on, it's still going on. There's a reason why they got fired.
Can you honestly tell me in this room, who can tell me that this county is in worse shape it was 5 years ago?
The roads.
The roads.
Financially.
I said the roads.
Okay.
But not the whole, all right?
Huh?
Not the whole, all right?
No, we still got 4 million in this general fund.
One thing I want to
How much
bring
that
up,
money got took out from leftover from the highway department stuff in the general each year?
We can't do that.
Huh?
Never.
Can't do that.
Never did that.
Can't
No.
do that.
That's illegal.
From the highway fund to the general,
No.
Once it's in the highway fund, it's illegal to transfer it back out.
back out. So it was used up every year then.
there's one thing I'd like to say before you adjourn this meeting.
What do you
I
get?
really thank you guys for having it. And when I said in the last meeting that I was gonna take out a petition if they wanted an opt-out. And the reason I do is because you're doing what you should do. If, I wasn't saying we didn't need or have to have this opt-out. I'm just saying let the people decide. And that's why I said I was gonna take out a petition, because I thought you were gonna just put it in. And I was gonna make you bring it up to the vote. Thank you for doing that.
How are you guys gonna come to a decision on what opt-out to do? I mean, how do we get to that point of which one are we gonna? How do we get to that?
Talk about not going into part of an opt-out.
I'm just glad you're off that.
Here's a thought.
Yes, speak up, Dave.
If we was to go 5 years and pull 500,000 out of the general fund and add it to the road department and say, screw the opt-out for 5 years, that would be 2.5 million. There would still be 1 point some million left in the general fund in case we had an emergency. Is that something people would consider?
Well, you gotta stop and figure this. How many taxpayers are you gonna lose because they go broke?
No,
You
this
better-
is money that's already in the general fund.
Sit in the bank.
You already have.
We already have.
Well, then why do we need an opt-out if we got plenty of money?
You wanna wait till the last day, till the flat broke?
Well,
Yeah.
this is an option. Are you guys interested in that?
So what are you guys using the general fund money for? Just for a safety net?
Yes.
4 million.
Yep.
4 million.
Do we need 4 million for a safety net?
What if we got down to 1.5, would that be better?
Then look it up.
Yeah.
Don't challenge them.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't challenge
What's wrong with
it.
1 million?
It's okay, now, people like
So are
that.
you gonna, are you drawing? Really?
Like,
Well, are you saving them for a rainy day? What are you saving them for?
I think part of it was the jail fund,
Yeah, yeah.
okay? Are we gonna build a jail?
No, I don't know, we ain't.
I hope not.
Okay,
You can't run one you got.
okay.
So who's saying they were spending too much money on roads when you got 4 million sitting in the bank?
It was there when
That's
we were
what,
there.
that's what, you know. Really?
Right, budget for it. That's what I'm saying. Quit lowering the budget.
Everybody's talking,
Budget up.
every year there's talk about this stuff, that, you gotta, maybe we shouldn't let the guys who have got their road gravel not be able to vote, and the guys who don't have their road gravel. That would solve a lot of goddamn problems right there, because it looks like everybody that has no good bunch of opt-out stuff, got their road gravel, but the guys who don't have their road gravel, you know, are, here we are.
So is that something,
Kind of my point is, quit lowering the budget. The money is there, and I've told them, why are you lowering the budget by $270,000? Put the money in there, and then you don't have to worry about going over budget.
And what happens in 5 years, Jim?
If you've got the money, budget for it.
You can put it back in the.
Right, you're gonna
No,
keep
you
eating
cannot.
away at
That's
it till it's
illegal.
gone.
No,
There's laws that state how much money the county can surplus, and you can't sit on surplus money past 40%. Budget for it.
You can't take it out of the highway fund for it.
Yeah, there's been.
Well, at the end of the year, when they didn't go over, you can't put the left over.
Each year.
It stays in the highway department.
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
So it will still be there.
Well, yeah, but it was not much left than that year.
You had a surplus last year. I've got the auditor's report right here. It was a surplus last year of cash. It doesn't say a number. But it just says that we-
2024, it's 133,000.
So we actually
It's
did
a
have
surplus. It's the surplus that's 133,000.
Sorry.
That's undesignated.
So now there's a fourth option on the table. It's just presented, do you want to do an opt-out plus pull coin out of the general fund? Stretch it out over 5 years, both an opt-out and draining the general fund.
But, well, if somebody's ranching out here or farming, and they got a big old checking account here, but they don't want to take it out of there, so they go borrow a whole bunch of money, pay interest on it. Basically, what you're talking about, which would be stupid.
I thank you for calling my granddad stupid. Because back in the 50s, when prices were up on spuds, the old timer would walk to town, 3.5 miles at the end of harvest. He would buy a brand new Packard. He would take that Packard home, live with it for a year. Another good year, Spuds would come in. He'd walk to town, buy another brand new Packard. The car that's a year old, he drove it up halfway up the mountain. He just drove it off the end of the rock pile. Farmers can be clever. So again, you now have a fourth option. You can do nothing.
Well, if you got the money, why are you gonna get a bunch more?
How much work do you want to get done?
Well, how much money you got? How much extra money? $4 million?
Well,
No,
can't spend it all.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I ain't saying do it all.
What does it take to recover from one thunder shower?
What's that?
What does it take to recover from one thunder shower? Pick a thunder shower that drops 8 or 10 inches of rain.
No, when the year we got all that flooding and stuff, did you get any FEMA money back?
Yes.
Did you get
I
some?
wasn't on the board then, but we got 80% back.
I don't remember the amount, but yeah, we got quite a bit.
I thought when we had that blizzard in 22.
Yeah,
No, we didn't get very much back on that.
No.
Yeah, we did.
No, not with the blizzard.
Not near what you spent.
We got some people money back on the blizzard.
No.
Wasn't a lot, but
There wasn't very much.
It wasn't very much, it was that front to help.
Well, it all helps.
I thought the road department done an awful good job in this blizzard.
Really.
As much of a mess that was.
Have you guys ever talked to that tract up by the city, or up by, he called me tonight, because he knew this meeting was coming. He was talking about how much the state is robbing the counties. They won 4 lawsuits. He wanted to make it down here tonight, but he didn't, but I can't tell you what he said. His name's got, that's right. Yeah. The people up there, those guys, they're going after the state, because they're both stealing a lot of the county funds. And that money comes in, not near as much should come back. Not near as much comes back as what's supposed to. He said, like they caught you guys dipping into the funds, he said, they're doing the same thing at the state. We're proving it.
How much does the county get any of the gas tax back? From the state or whatever? I don't think so.
We get FSA money is about all it is, isn't it?
No, I'm not sure.
I mean,
It's like gas
it's
tax
put
is
on
federal.
the gas tax, and I just wondered if, I mean, we all pay that, but I was wondering if the county got any of that for roads or anything. That's what the gas tax was.
I'm thinking, and I haven't been in there for 5 years. I'm thinking we used to get
Only been 5 years.
some time of the gas, it was $4,000 a year.
I think we pay in a lot more than that, don't we?
But a lot of it's federal, I think.
18 cents a gallon. Is it now?
That's our average meeting. Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, it's like people are more in favor of all our general fund.
I mean, I think I don't think they've got to go to, public vote, whatever.
On a opt-out, but yeah.
Right. But which one, how do you pick which one you're gonna? Is it just all three?
We wouldn't have to,
This, you won't need an opt-out.
we won't need an opt-out if we go out of the general fund.
That's all.
Maybe do a smaller opt-out and take some, a little bit out of the general fund. Maybe kind of spread it out a little bit, go a little bit farther. Instead of such a big, instead of going 350, go 275 and taking some out of the freaking general. Whatever,
That's an option.
Well, yeah.
You gotta remember, just think if you lived in Nebraska right now, what you'd be paying. Oh, there you go. Right, Judd? Well, something to think about.
So it seems they paid more down there, we should pay more here too.
Did I just hear that?
We gotta decide. I'm in favor of bringing it up.
general fund, then we get to go, then look at an opt-out.
No, let's go half and half. What's that? Go half out of the general fund and go half for an opt-out.
Well, maybe being we got this extra money, maybe they should learn to live within their means. If they would practice that a little bit. Sounds like you got a little time to do it.
My question is, do you want to do you want to focus an opt-out on secondary roads?
On
So
the
you're yes.
roads if needed. I don't know which one's that.
Well, every secondary road in the county.
Well,
needs it.
every road needs it, no matter who you are.
Well, every secondary road needs it. Right? Yeah. Because they haven't, nothing been done in the last 10, 20, 50 years, secondary roads.
You need to get some defects.
So are you on that, Levi? Do you think it should be focused on secondary roads or no? No.
Primary roads.
Primary roads.
If I'm understanding the terminology.